All right, we have an amazing announcement. And to show you guys what we have going on, please watch this quick clip.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
All right, my live stream's finally accomplished. I finally got to rickroll someone. Now on to the show. Well, Vito, what do you think of the beer we canned up last week?
It's delicious, and it was fun canning it up. What are we going to give away this month, though, is the big question.
It's in my budget that we can give away one of these awesome cannulars. I think people are going to love that.
Yeah, I think they will too. But remember when I was pushing on it, I kind of overseamed and ruined a few cans?
Yeah, you let the muscles do the work and they overseam sometimes. So this one works really well if you have good finesse. So fine, we will do the semi-pro, which is really cool because it's just push button and you can't accidentally overseam.
Remember also when we were doing, I got beer all over myself?
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you get beer on you, but that's fine. All right, well, we'll throw in the splash guard. It's a pretty cool accessory.
But what are they gonna put their beer in? They need some cans.
All right, you're pushing me on this, but let's do the whole package. Let's do the Pro Cannular with cans and a power supply and the splash guard. That's over $1,000 value.
That sounds awesome.
All right, so to enter, keep in mind, it's over $1,000 value. Go to morebeer.com/free beer Friday and enter the monthly giveaway. All right, well, have you canned or are you interested in canning? Tell us about it. Head to the comments and write up why you would want to try canning your beer. And here are the reasons to consider the cannular. All right, the first thing we should talk about is why should we consider canning?
Yeah, let's start with the basics. So a can is just, superior to glass in that it cools faster and it also protects against UV light.
Yeah, not only that, it won't shatter on you. So I love them for outdoor use. I have a pool, so it can be poolside without worrying about it being knocked over by my kids or whatnot, but also just going out camping, backpacking, any of those things. It's easier, they're lighter, and I can squish them down when I'm done with them to take up less space.
Yeah, speaking of squishing down, they're recyclable as well.
Awesome. Well, the second point we should talk about is how easy they are to use. It's simple. Literally fill up your can of beer, put your lid on, put it on, lift it up, start the spin, press the button, does all the work for you, end the spin, lower it down, and you're done.
Yeah, super easy to use. This is the one I'm more familiar with, and a story about how easy it was to use. We debuted this at HomebrewCon a couple years ago, unboxed it, set it up, and then you had the idea, let's start filling beers in Canada.
It was club night I'd been drinking.
Yeah, so it was a great idea, and then we ended up doing 200 cans that night. I had no experience on it, was able to knock out 200 cans, super easy to use.
People loved it. It was fun.
It was a fun night.
The third reason that makes these so cool is that you have two different versions and a bunch of accessories that make them super easy to use.
Yeah, some of the differences, let's talk about that. On the base model, it's a manual, where on the Pro, it's an automatic. And basically, the automatic will prevent you from overseaming. You push a little too hard on here and you could overseam a can.
Cool. Well, both models you can put on a splash guard that are clear plastic and have a nice little spring-loaded door to prevent the splash when it's spinning. It's throwing off beer foam, which you want, but it makes a mess, so it's super handy.
Another benefit of the Pro model is the base is big enough to fit a 32-ounce crowler and also food cans, and you just need to swap out the chuck up top to be able to seam those. All right, the fourth reason we love these is they're just built like a brick house. This thing is like every bit of 40 pounds and it's just solid.
I mean, the other reason to like these is they're built by Kegland. And it's a great name behind them, and we've worked with them for several years, and everything we've done with them, they keep improving, which makes it better and better. The first version of this had a few issues. We worked them out with customers, gave the feedback, Kegland improved them. They then improved them again to make it more bulletproof. Then they even said, well, how about we make you a semi-pro where they don't even use levers and it just press a button. We're like, yeah, that's even better. So we know these current models are awesome. They almost need no adjustments once you get them set up right. They're great.
All right, the fifth reason we love these is just the overall value. They're just priced amazing.
Yeah, when we first heard that they were making a cannular, we were like, cool, pro breweries will love this, a small little canning line that they can have. But then we saw the price and we're like, whoa, we can use these for home brewers. And they've become so popular now that in competitions, people are entering cans.
Yeah, competitions are now accepting cans, and it's just a better format overall for your beer.
So it's a pretty low cost to get into, and quite frankly, read the reviews, customers love them. All right, so we have some clips to show of Vito and I canning up some beer last week. All right, Vito's gonna give us a quick pour in the worst conditions at all to can in, but Vito's going to fill it up off a little silicone tubing off our faucet with a flow control. This particular beer has a slight bit of foam to it, so we are going to seam right on top of the foam.
Yeah, that was great to be able to just knock out a couple cans. I know you had some friend, or you're going over to some friend's house that night, so we did a couple cans. We were just doing it right off the tap. Ideally, we'd want to like purge that with some CO2 first and fill them, but for that night, I think it was great. What do you think?
Yeah, for that night it was perfect, and we actually do have some can filling stuff coming in with R&D, and I'm sure there's some other ones coming out there. But ideally, just a purge of CO2 first, fill the can up, let it foam over, put it on, cap on foam is what they call that. That way you're kind of voiding out all the oxygen. But it's a pretty big vessel to do oxygen free. So what we noticed was a couple of the cans that we had later on were a bit oxidized. Today's wasn't, so they're not all that way. I think it had to do with the order of which they were filled, and some filled better than others. So the biggest secret we have for you is make sure you do some CO2 in the can first.
Yeah, cap on foam. Think of it like a growler that you get from a brewery. Like you're gonna wanna drink that in 2 to 3 days, the way we filled it.
The way we filled it,
Yeah.
But ideally you could do this and store it the same amount of time as a keg or a bottle.
Yep, for sure.
All right, this week's Free Beer Friday Kit of the Week started out as an April Fool's joke, and it got so popular that we actually sold it. Unicorn farts.
Yeah, so it's a glitter pale ale, and it's a, when we were trying to come up with the idea, it was a great joke, but then we actually made the kit, or made the beer, poured it at Brew Network Spring Brews Festival, and it was a big hit. Everybody loved it, everybody was talking about it at the festival. It's a great pale ale, but then it's got edible glitter in it as well.
We thought we'd sell a couple of them and then discontinue it, but the reviews came back so good that we kept it. So to win this week, go to morebeer.com/freebeerfriday and enter the weekly giveaway to win. Thanks for watching. See you next Friday. Cheers.